Here's something most people get wrong. When the US puts a tariff on Chinese steel or European wine or Mexican avocados, that tax isn't paid by China or Europe or Mexico. It's paid by American companies importing the goods. Which raises an obvious question. If tariffs quietly tax our own businesses, why does the US keep using them again and again, no matter who's in office? Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll understand a tool that's been shaping the global economy for over a century and why it keeps coming back no matter how many times economists warn against it. Let's start with the basics. A tariff is simply a tax on an imported good. When a company brings in solar panels or washing machines or car parts from overseas, the importer pays a percentage of that value straight to the government. That cost usually doesn't just disappear. It tends to get passed along, at least partially, to the businesses and consumers buying the final product. So, if tariffs often end up taxing us, why use them at all? Because tariffs aren't really about the tax revenue. They're a tool for something else entirely: leverage. Picture two countries negotiating a trade deal. One side wants the other to drop a subsidy, open a market, or stop a practice it considers unfair. Tariffs are the stick in that negotiation, a way to make the other side feel real economic pain until they come to the table. That's the leverage argument, and it's a big reason tariffs show up so often in trade disputes. There's also the protection argument. Domestic industries, steel, manufacturing, agriculture, often can't compete on price with cheaper overseas production. A tariff artificially raises the cost of the foreign competitor's goods, giving the domestic industry breathing room to survive or even grow. And then there's national security. Some goods, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, rare earth minerals, are considered too critical to depend on rival nations for. If a country believes it can't afford to be cut off from a resource during a conflict or crisis, tariffs become a way to encourage building that supply chain domestically, even if it costs more in the short term. So far, tariffs sound almost reasonable: protect key industries, gain leverage, secure critical supply chains. But here's the catch that gets left out of most conversations about them. Quick question before we go further. If a tariff raises prices on imported goods, who do you think actually ends up paying that cost in the end? The foreign country, the importing company, or you? Drop your guess in the comments, because the honest answer might surprise you, and it's exactly where this story gets complicated. So who actually pays? In most cases, it's a mix. Importers absorb some of the cost, some gets passed to consumers through higher prices, and sometimes domestic manufacturers who rely on imported parts end up paying more too. A tariff meant to protect one industry can quietly raise costs for a completely different one down the supply chain. And there's another cost that often gets overlooked: retaliation. When one country imposes tariffs, the targeted country frequently responds with tariffs of its own, often aimed at politically sensitive industries. Historically, agriculture has taken the brunt of this. A tariff designed to protect steel workers can end up hurting soybean farmers thousands of miles away if another country retaliates by taxing agricultural exports instead. This isn't new. Back in the 1930s, the US passed a sweeping tariff law meant to protect American industry during an economic downturn. Other countries retaliated with their own tariffs. Global trade shrank sharply, and many economists point to that episode as making a bad economic situation worse, not better. It's become something of a cautionary tale, proof that tariffs, used broadly and aggressively, can backfire in ways that are hard to undo. And yet, tariffs keep coming back. Every few years, in one form or another, they resurface because the reasons for using them haven't gone away. Industries still want protection, countries still want leverage, and concerns about depending on rivals for critical goods haven't disappeared either. If anything, they've grown. So are tariffs good or bad? Honestly, that's the wrong question. They're a blunt tool, one that can genuinely protect a struggling industry or pressure a trade partner into a better deal, while at the same time raising costs for businesses and consumers who had nothing to do with the dispute.
The real effects depend entirely on which goods get taxed, which countries are involved, and how long the policy sticks around. That's why this keeps happening. Tariffs aren't a policy anyone gets perfectly right. They're a trade-off, and every administration ends up making that trade-off differently, based on which pain they're more willing to accept. If this helped you actually understand why tariffs keep showing up in the news no matter who's in charge, hit like. It helps this reach more people trying to make sense of it too. And subscribe, because we break down stories like this, the ones hiding behind the headlines, every week. Let me know in the comments, do you think tariffs are doing more good than harm right now?